Times are strange nowadays. Quarantine keeps us from doing the things that we want to do, like going out with friends, going to stores and restaurants we previously enjoyed, or even being near people at all. And this forces us to be locked up in our houses to do nothing but what we have at our disposal. To some, this might not be the end of the world, especially with the sheer amount of TV to be watched and time to be lazy around the house that we've looked forward since school started. Though eventually, everyone has started to receive a feeling of boredom that we cannot deal with because of our routinely life that we normally live has been taken away due to quarantine and we can do little about it. For a while, we couldn't even go to the parks where social distancing wasn't hard to accomplish, but now when we are experiencing all the stores and restaurants open back up, we still feel this boredom over us due to all the restrictions. Boredom is usually looked at with a negative thought. People do not enjoy being bored and do not look forward to being bored. But just like everything else in existence, boredom has its pros and cons. But today I only intend to look at the pros because the cons are well known at this point. When we become bored, we usually attempt to combat this by doing something that relieves us from boredom, such as looking at our phones for text messages, social media, or games. We may try to socialize with others if we feel inclined to do so, or we may attempt to entertain ourselves with the surroundings, or even try the millions of other things we can do whenever we get bored. However, in the point of boredom where you can either think about what you can do or entertain yourself, there comes a point where you can sit in one spot, secluded from any distractions, and simply think. You may begin to think of random things that pass the time, but in doing these things, there are several positive outcomes of doing this. Thinking about something you'd rather be doing may help you come out of boredom with an inspiration to do something in a way that you may not have thought to do it before. Boredom can also help us build up patience. So, in these times of waiting, and anything good in life is worth waiting for, you can sustain yourself and be independent of outside influence. Boredom can even give you the time to think of things you should do often that you should be thinking of in the first place, like family and friends that you share mutual bonds with that you may not do enough for. Truly look at your current situation and how you can change yourself for the better, or even think about ideas that you may not even have the power to do anything with, but it still opens up your mind to deeper thought and understanding. All of these things lead to the importance of boredom. If we are never bored, then um, what's worth and there's nothing worth in life that'll excite us. Boredom is the balancing factor, and the downtime from all the chaos helps us go into deeper thought that we previously wouldn't even take the time to do. For example, one of my friends, he's been having several issues trying to find jobs and stuff, or even a future like to go into. And he went out on a camping trip for several weeks just so he could take the time to simply just sit there and think and just be able to live in nature. And doing this, he eventually did get bored. And that gave him the time to just sit there and think about what he could be doing, what he wants to do, and all this stuff. And the more he thought about it, being in this nature like led him to want to think. Well, he wants to open up a bakery. That's been his thought for a very long time because he just really likes the idea of just being able to make nice sweets and stuff and just be able to like make people happy and be able to own a business for himself. Because previously he was like just thinking about going into the army or going into like a job path that his mom could get him into easily. But all of that really didn't sound very interesting for him. But just being able to be bored, just sitting in one spot, not able to do anything but just survive off of the land and just be in nature, just really pushed him to be able to want to think more and think of all the solutions that he could find to be able to like make his dream come true in life. And just taking that time to be able to like sit there and think couldn't be achieved by being in the chaotic world that we normally live in. And even throughout the quarantine, even though he's at home, there's still distractions at home for him that he couldn't have um, even before quarantine. That still existed during quarantine for him. So all this to say, boredom has its place in life, and it's a beneficial factor whether you realize or not. So just don't take it for granted. Use boredom as an advantage for yourself. Thank you.